Let's talk about sleep. A lot of the people would struggle with sleep and have two main symptoms. The first is falling asleep at night or staying asleep, and the second is waking up dead in the morning, not having the energy and having to rely on coffee to even function or wake up. In short, this is down to our circadian rhythm or body clock being off. Now, with a normal circadian rhythm, what's supposed to happen is cortisol, your stress hormone, that's supposed to peak in the morning, so rise in the morning. That will wake you up. Okay, that's the thing that wakes you up. Without an alarm clock, you should kind of wake up automatically. And then at night, it will plummet at night, so it will be its lowest at night. In contrast to that, melatonin, which is the hormone involved in making us tired, helping us sleep, that is supposed to be low in the morning and that will peak at night. So these two hormones have an inverse relationship. However, when our body clock becomes irregular, what happens is we can switch these around. Cortisol is very low in the morning, okay, and then cortisol becomes very high at night. And melatonin, that becomes low at night. So when one is down, the other is up. So when a cortisol is high at night, that means you'll show the symptoms of being tired but wired. You're maybe physically tired, but you just can't sleep. Your brain's on, you're very stressed, you can't stop thinking, your brain's going 100 miles an hour. And then in the morning when cortisol is low, that's why you're dead and you can't wake up. Okay, so what can we do to get our body clock back on track and get back sleeping properly? Well, ironically, when it comes to people not sleeping properly, we actually want to look at what they do in the morning first. So there's these things called Zeitgebers, and Zeitgebers are basically information from the external world that tell your body clock what time it is and what to do each day. So they deliver information. So if we give our body the right Zeitgebers, it will tell our body when to wake up, and it will tell our body when to fall asleep and sleep properly and get that back into a rhythm. Obviously, when we travel, our body clock's off, so we're trying to reset it again. So there's a few main things that we can do. So they start in the morning, and the first is get up at the same time each day. If someone's struggling to sleep at night, I challenge them to set their alarm clock very early and see if they don't sleep that night. We want to get at the same time each day because that gives our body the same information. As Owen Lacey says, it's like if you had a factory. You want to make sure the factory workers are ready to go at the same time every day, rather than waking up at irregular schedules. Obviously, this doesn't take into account nursing and people doing shift work. We'll talk about that in separate videos. But that will be the first thing. So even on the weekend, aim to get up at the same time each day, because if you don't, we fall into what's called social jet lag, and it's the same as being jet lagged when you're overseas. You're getting up at different times, so your body clock is way off, and then during the week, just as you catch up by the end of the week, you're thrown off by getting up later on Saturday, Sunday. So even on the weekend, if you're getting up at the same time, you can have a nap, whatever, a few hours later, but this will be the first, okay? And eventually you should be able to wake up without an alarm clock. That's the sign that your body clock is on track. Second, what we want to do is get sunlight, ideally within the first 20 to 30 minutes of waking up if possible. Okay, we want around 20,000 lux, okay, and you can measure it there's an app on your phone you can get. For people in winter where they are, obviously in Europe when we're going into it now, you can get UV lights in the morning to put in your room just to wake your body up. I have an alarm clock I use in winter here with a UV light on it that goes off just to reset your body and communicate what time it is and what to do. Okay, that in itself should wake your body up. The third thing what we can do is do exercise in the morning. Now obviously this applies to you if you can train in the morning, but it may just be a walk to get some sunlight. When we exercise, it naturally increases cortisol. When we go back to the graph before, we kind of want to get nice and high in the first half of the day, so it goes lower in the second half of the day. And for those people that train at night, we will talk about what to do after that. But if you can, some kind of exercise in the first half of the day. Fourth, what we can do is eat breakfast. Okay, now obviously there's some people where I'll have on fasting protocols where they might be saving their calories for a night. But if you are eating 3 or 4 meals a day, make sure you eat breakfast, because again, that communicates and that revs up your metabolism. Not that it's any different to losing fat if you don't, but it just gives your body the signals that the factory's on, the factory's working, it's time to work. And so at the end of the day, you can knock off and fall asleep. Okay, the fifth, what we can do, then we'll look at more what we do at night time, is wind down at the end of the night, at the end of the day. Everybody's going to be different on this. Some people are going to be more open to doing meditation and guided meditation. Again, you don't have to be a hippie, just find a space, put some headphones on. It could be having Epsom bath salt at night. A lot of stuff we'll talk about in the stress videos. I'm not a big fan of just mindlessly watching TV, because you're not really in a relaxed state then. Okay, it could be have a cold shower, it could be just a minute of deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. Again, you can get some nice guided apps that I will link to as well. We're trying to get that cortisol nice and low. So save the talk of bills or any kind of stressful conversations for the next morning. We don't want to rev our cortisol back up. We're trying to get it nice and low so our melatonin can come back up. Okay, and the last thing is no blue light 2 hours if you can before bed. If you really have to use your laptop and it's an emergency, download an app called Flux, F.lux, and that basically takes the blue light from your screens. Some people may even wear blue blocking glasses, because again, blue light is Zeitgeber, which we want in the morning, because that tells your body it's the daytime. So if you get all this blue light at night, it communicates to your brain that it's the daytime, and it's going to rev up cortisol and it's going to stop releasing melatonin, thus you can't sleep. If you have to go on your phone, which again relates back to number 5, it probably will stress you back up again. Turn the brightness down, start to create dark environment around. Again, this is why maybe the TV not right before bed is good, because there's blue light on that. Try to decrease that. It's hard at the start, but trust me, once you get sleeping properly and feeling better, the whole process is not only your fat loss, but your energy as well. I guarantee it will absolutely revolutionize your life in general.